Good morning, listeners and viewers. This very peculiar angle is where we are. Hello, Jeff. Oh, gosh, get settled. Let's get in. Let's see what's going on. It's funny, this angle, isn't it? What should we do? What we're doing? How we're doing it? I'll move along. Come and sit here. I don't know if this is going to last. Have we got a it's like out on deck?
It's not the best angle. It makes you look a lot bigger, doesn't it? Hold on, man. Let's try and
How do we? Anyway, keep talking.
How do we look slimmer
Good
on
morning,
screen?
listeners. You're listening to Ammar and
Jeff.
live on our weekly radio show right here on Spice FM.
And each week we're trying to bring you some views, news, and one or two clues from the business world.
Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, and promote the Asian and wider communities.
We'll be talking shop quite literally, not just corner shops. Hey, hold on. We'll be
Not just what?
if you want to, I've fluffed my lines, but hey.
Anyway, it's
we are here and we're ready to go. It's it's slight change of locations this morning. And what?
Anyway, we're here. We're now trying to log on to everything everywhere all at once. Oh, there we go. So we're connected there. Let's turn these things off. Let's turn that off. Actually, we don't want to turn that off. We want to turn lots of things on. Jeff, it's Friday the 22nd, 7th of February, even. Isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's the second last day of the month. Tomorrow, 28th, and believe it or not, Sunday is the 1st of March.
I do believe it.
Which
Because
is
it's
just,
a very special day.
it is.
What's special about it?
1st of March.
Yeah. It's St. David's Day.
Okay.
Did you know that?
No.
It's, it is St. David's Day, and it is what happens if we do anyway, it's St. David's Day, Jeff. 1st of March.
Okay.
Great day. The Welsh people love it. And what do you know about St. David?
Not much, but it'd be nice for you to share who Saint David was.
And is. Who do you think he is?
Saint David. Is Saint David the saint that was around Holy Island? Is that him?
So, let's find out. Anyway, can you hear us okay, Jamie? Can you give us a thumbs up or something just to say yes, no? Yes, wonderful. Thank you. And anyway, Saint David is who is Saint David? I'll tell you what. One of the things that I was really fascinated about, Jeff, was and is when my son a couple of years ago, I don't know why you would say that. I would just reply, I'm good. That's it. That would it. Don't go and explaining something unless you need to explain something. Otherwise, you're preempting something. Just say, I'm good. Leave it at that. Don't say anything else until. Anyway, the art of negotiation, and don't put your hand up unless someone asks you to, is one of the most key points. What am I talking about? I'm just talking about generally. All too often in a world, people are too easy and too quick to offer an opinion or enter into a dialogue. And actually, what they should and could be doing is saying nothing. Best advice. My late father was when he didn't say anything was more scary than when he did, because he actually didn't, and he didn't speak that much, to be honest, which I found really interesting, given the fact that A, he was a teacher, B, he had some brilliant things to say. But yeah, so always say nothing. Always say nothing until you need to say something. No, but as in, someone said that no one said anything yet. Anyway, so I was explaining what not to do, and immediately, whatever you say will be taken down and used against you. So a couple of years back, Jeff, my son, who was a couple of years younger, was given this assignment to do. And it was about William the Conqueror. Can you remember him?
Yes.
What can you remember?
Yeah, but well, I'm thinking about William the Conqueror.
Right.
But it's not William Wallace, is it?
No.
So I wouldn't be able to tell you actually who William the Conqueror is.
So William the Conqueror won the battle of Hastings in 1066. And the reason why I get excited about William the Conqueror and the story of William the Conqueror is because it's such a significant part of history. But then when my son was doing his assignment, I went into the depth of the detail. I found it really, really interesting. And William the Conqueror became king of England. And he introduced some significant things in our history, namely castles. So he built the most number of castles. And the reason behind the castles was to build them up on a hill, fortified, with a fort and whatever else. They were visible and they were built as part of the royal family to control, right? So it was all about how do you control the people. First thing was castles. The next thing was census and taxes. He created the census where they introduced how much livestock do you have, how many cattle do you have, and they started recording. And he introduced the first time in history census, how many people is there, they got, and everything else, which has continued since then. And the third, probably the most significant thing that he introduced was a feudal system. And the feudal system was all around taxes. So how did you collect those taxes? Well, it was based on how much someone had and what they had and whatever else. But actually, the king was in London. So how did he control these provinces and these areas? And he introduced this tax type system. And to control those taxes, he introduced high sheriffs, these roles of high sheriffs. And it's one of the oldest roles in history that still exists. Now, at that time, I wasn't, we're talking a few years back, I wasn't that interested. But it really got me interested about history. I'm really fascinated in history. Anyway, the point of this conversation is I then more recently started watching this Netflix or this documentary, not a documentary, period drama, and it's called King and Conqueror. And it's about Harold and about William. And it is all about 1066. And I didn't know, obviously, because I didn't. But there was only 3 fundamentally countries in England at the time. They were called counties, and there was counts or earls that ran them. There was the county of Northumbria, which covered the whole of the north, including York, right? There was Mercia, which covered everything on that side of the country, i.e. sort of Liverpool, Northwest, and everything else. and then there was Wessex, and they all fought each other. And Harold was the Earl of Wessex, and they went into bed with, and then there was the King of London. Anyway, it's fascinating. If you get the chance to watch it, obviously it's dramatized and everything else, but then it shows a similar type of arrangement in France and the Normandy, Brittany, and whatever else. And William the Conqueror was actually from Normandy, right? And his cousin was the king of the time, who was the mad king, because he was a bit mad and he was with the church and whatever, but they were all related. And England and France and all of these, royalty were all married and like sort of bred together and whatever else to control that bloodline and oil lines. Anyway, fascinating. And then it brings in the Vikings and does this and talks about like how actually the king had given his kingdom or whatever it was to William the Conqueror. But Harold, who was the Earl of Wessex, changed his voice because his sister was married to the king. Anyway, it's like, anyway, the point of all of that is I find it fascinating, and I thought I'd share it. And then having the role of the High Sheriff, which is such a significant position, and being that in nomination at this moment in time is quite a big deal, given the fact that it's one of the oldest roles. It's the second oldest role in the United Kingdom. The first is the King or the Queen, and after the King and Queen, the second role that exists, before armies, before like military, before judges, before like anything, is the role of the High Sheriff. Anyway, coming on to Saint David. So Saint David, or Welsh, Dewi Sant, was a 6th century Christian bishop and is the patron saint of Wales. So he was born around 500 AD, probably in what is now Pembrokeshire in Wales. He died 589 AD, which is a great innings at that time. Yeah, the average age was like 40, 50 max. Yeah, that was like the outliers. The feast day is the 1st of March, celebrated as St. David's Day in Wales, role, bishop, teacher, and monastic founder. What he is known for, he founded several monasteries, including one at St. David's, now the smallest city in the UK. Promoted a simple, strict, monastic lifestyle. Monks worked hard, farmed, and avoided luxuries, known for preaching and spreading Christianity across Wales and parts of Britain. Famous legend, during a sermon, the ground beneath him is said to have risen up to form a hill so the crowd could hear him clearly, and a white dove appeared on his shoulder, symbolizing the Holy Spirit. Why he matters. So St. David became a symbol of Welsh identity, faith, and pride. On St. David's Day, 1st of March, people in Wales celebrate by wearing daffodils or leeks, national symbols of Wales. Amazing. Well, it is, because it's like, it's got nothing to do with him, it's got everything to do with me, because St. David's Day is my birthday. Anyway, that's, why did you say that? It's outrageous. I know your birthday. I send you a message every single year.
I've got your birthday locked in.
Oh, really? All right. But you were too busy distracted replying to someone else.
Was disrupted.
Replying to someone else. Anyway, I'd say what's going on in the world, Jeff?
I think locally, I think just much of a muchness, really. I think it's been weekdays have been very quiet in the city. Mondays especially. I mean, even with Champions League match on Tuesday, didn't have that same level of kind of hustle and bustle that you usually get with a Champions League game. I think Karabag, it's so far away that there was only about a couple 100,000 away fans, whereas previously, with some other clubs, like Athletic Club, you would get 4,000 or 5,000 fans possibly coming in, which makes a massive difference to the city. But I think it's just that time of the year, February, going into March. I think the weekends have been pretty good. Well, I think locally, there's not really much I don't think there's much new news, really.
And football wise, I mean, how many fans was there?
There was around about, I think, 2,000. St James's Park wasn't sort of set up. There was about 50,000, so we're about a couple of thousand short. I just think that it was just because, we did so well and there wasn't any jeopardy. Fans didn't go because it was a kind of given that we're going to get through the next round.
Was it a good game?
Yeah, it was a decent game. Yeah.
I mean, it was good that they pulled a couple back.
Happened their goal and stuff because when it's a 9-goal to aggregate situation, it's nice to applaud their efforts. So it's good. I think the draw is today. The next round, the last 16. It's a big achievement.
I was looking at the financials around it. They made quite a bit of money then.
Well, getting into the last 16 by winning the car. So from a financial standpoint, progression in the Champions League is the one that gives the biggest revenue. I think it's so important for our club with all the financial constraints. Big games coming up either with Chelsea or Barcelona next. If we're able to somehow, get through that round and get into the last eight, I think the kudos of being in the last eight as a emerging club would be so good. So we've got to just see what happens.
Yeah, and I think you're right. The opportunity is quite significant in regards to the cup of what it has to offer. Anyway, let's get into the show properly. What's going on, Jaff? What's the headlines?
Headline news.
Yeah.
Trump's new 15% tariff plan will hit UK exporters and dent global. Donald Trump has announced an immediate increase in US tariffs from 10 to 15% on many imported goods, including British exports, following a Supreme Court ruling that he had exceeded his authority under earlier emergency powers. The new measure introduced use under different legislation could affect around 40,000 UK firms exporting to the US. There's that many firms exporting to the US. So, with business leaders warning it will raise costs, disrupt trade, and weaken global growth, the British Chamber of Commerce described an additional 5% increase as damaging for both UK exports and US consumers, calling for clarity and stability. The UK government is in discussions with Washington to protract preferential terms under the UK-US economic prosperity deal. Though economists note they may remove previously secured advantages and push overall US tariff rates back to around 14.5%. Businesses on both sides of the Atlantic now face renewed uncertainty with concerns over supply chains, investment decisions, and rising costs in one of the UK's most important export markets. That's
OpenAI to make London its largest research hub outside the US. So OpenAI, for those of you who don't know who OpenAI, they're the ones who have ChatGPT, is expanding its London Research Centre to make it its largest hub outside the US, intensifying competition with Google DeepMind for top AI talent in the capital. The ChatGPT developer plans to significantly grow its current 30-person London team, citing the city's strong concentration of AI and scientific expertise, though it has not disclosed specific hiring targets. The move positions London as a key battleground in the global AI race, where firms are offering highly competitive, often £1 million compensation packages to attract elite researchers. UK political leaders have welcomed the expansion as a vote of confidence in Britain's AI sector, whilst OpenAI says advances in AI agents mark a major shift in the industry, despite ongoing concerns about job disruption and the societal impact of rapidly evolving technology. What about this next one, Jack?
Small businesses aren't April's perfect storm as costs surge. Well, this is scary. So I've listened hard. I kind of listen in myself. Small businesses are warning of an April perfect storm of rising costs, with more than a third saying they may close or scale back operations as high energy bills, increased business rates, rising wages, and changes to statutory sick pay take effect. The Federation of Small Businesses has cautioned that the combined impact will squeeze profits and undermine growth, estimating a 9-employee firm paying the national living wage could see employment costs rise by nearly 30% in just a few months. Business owners say that the steady accumulation of higher taxes and operating expenses is making it harder to hire and invest, leaving many small firms facing tough choices between absorbing costs, raising prices, or reducing activity, with potential knock-on effects for jobs and local economies.
It's scary though, isn't it?
I think it is a perfect storm, Ammar, and
why define that then? Explain.
Well, I mean, if you go back to, the concepts that were created for an employee's national insurance. I mean, what's your understanding of that? Or what was the basic foundations of that? The employer's national insurance. Was it not to insure was it as an employee, are you not insuring yourself that if you do go on the sick, you're paying this insurance contribution that when you go on the sick, because of unfortunate circumstances, your insurance covers that. And similarly, the employer is paying employer's insurance with a view that an employee is sick, we're paying employer's insurance so that in an event of sickness, that we're covered also. So previously, if you used to get the employer's PAYE bill every single month, and one of your employees was on the sick, that would just come off directly from the bill that you have to pay to the HMRC, because you've got insurance to protect both employee and employer. But those rules have changed. I mean, they've just gone and changed. Is that right? Is that right? And is that actually even legal under that framework to now put the liability on the employer to pay for someone being sick when you're paying insurance to cover yourself? That is terrible. Obviously, when someone was sick, I think currently they would have to be sick for a good few number of days. And I think that rule is changing, where
it's immediately.
Immediately.
So there's a whole range of things that are putting further burdens on employers, basically, and that's where this small businesses war of April's perfect storm, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know the minimum wage is going up by, they say, a net amount of 4%. But if you gross that out and you calculate the employers and the total cost of business, I haven't done the checks yet, but I'm presuming it's going to be, I'm not sure if it's going to be quite 13 as well as been pointed out here. But it's certainly going to be up to the 8 and the 9%, the 10%. So if you've got another 10% increase in your labor costs coming your way, I mean, how do you counteract that? There's only two options, really. One is to increase your sales, and B is to find other ways of cutting costs. That obviously not going to be either you're making whilst this labor costs are going up, you need to make your labor be more efficient. Maybe it's cut hours in other places to balance that. So there has to be cutting exercises to try and develop your revenue. And obviously that's just the basic common sense knowledge. But then in the real world, how are you going to go about doing it? You know, all of a sudden you've got to increase your sales like 10% immediately from April. You got 4 weeks and increasing 10% sales. You know, how do you do it? Is the market is the city growing? Is the economy on the up? Is a feel good factor there? Is it greater investment in the areas that you're doing business where it's going to draw more people in as opposed to yourself? Or do you have to look at your offerings? And there's so much that needs to be considered.
It's all of those things, and then the rise of AI is incredibly both concerning, but also one of the biggest opportunities ever. And let me illustrate that a little bit, which was quite fascinating, and how people feel about AI. How do you feel about AI?
Look, I'm not a techno wizard. I'm not. I think I'm a bit cautious about technology, to be honest. I appreciate the benefits of it, 100%. I mean, you know, if you imagine we had our mobile phones that we had. I remember when I had my first mobile phone. I was at university, an 18-year-old kid, and at that time, not many people had mobile phones. It just happened to be we had a event management business, and you needed one. And people that were coming over from London, and I was at university in Leicester. The cool kids seemed to have mobile phones. But in Newcastle and other places, they were just, you would have the big bricks that one or two businessmen would have at that era. So if you imagine where we are today in light on where we were, so that technology, everything is on our phones, and and there's massive gains and benefits of it. I think the worry is with AI, I think it's infringing on your freedoms, and I think when technology does that, I think I personally am in disagreement with it. I mean, there's whether you like it or not, there's probably going to be face activation all over the place.
Well, there is already.
Yeah, I mean, it's all of those things, and it's kind of. I think everyone. I mean, we're here in Britain because we like our freedoms, right? So is there going to be, what level of protections are there going to be?
Yeah, anyway, we've been giving up our freedoms for a very, very long time. That's a matter of fact, right? As soon as we opened up a bank account, as soon as we started doing whatever digitally, as soon as, like, if you read off of the terms, people don't even consider, right, this pop-up box. Do you agree with this? You have to agree with this before you proceed. And because you're so comfortable using this thing that it doesn't matter anymore, right? You just click agree, download, update, agree, download, update, agree, download. You've given away half of your data just by doing that anyway, and you have been for years, right? So AI is amazing. And, yes, you should always have a bit of caution with anything. But in essence, to truly utilize something and have the utility of it, you need to be able to jump all in. Anyway, I've jumped all in. But here's the fascinating thing, because it's all about mindset. So Jeff, for about 10 years, we've been looking at developing innovation programs, right? If you remember, I even showed you a bit of a demo of Yola, our business model innovation and everything else. Now, that acknowledged the pace and change of society, business, like everything, right? Change is a matter of fact, whether it was COVID, whether it's like digital transformation, whether it's internationalization, whether it's tariffs, whether it's this, whether it's that, whatever's happening, whether it's politics, whether change is are constant. One thing we can guarantee is there will always be constant change every single day. It's what you do with that change and how you manage that change, which is the most important thing. And change for the sake of change is incredibly challenging. And change is the hardest thing for people like us. We don't like change. Oh, you're going to have to start getting up at 2 o'clock. You'd be like, oh, I'm not doing that. Yeah. Oh, you have to get the bus as opposed to get the car. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So just the point around this. Right? So education, generally, training, your staff, your whatever, everything that you do, right? Someone could come along and go, here's a computer. Here's a computer, right? I'm going to teach you how to use that computer. You sit in the classroom, teach you, I'll show you how to do it. So I'll give you the tools. Here's the tools. Here's how to lay out like your silver service. This is what you do with your tables. Here's your tools. I'm going to teach you how to use those tools, right? So you've got the tool set, you've got the skill set. But the one thing that always holds everybody back is the mindset, right? Well, I can't get it. Well, I'm not doing that. Well, I know you found a new way of cooking. Always cook like this, right? The mindset. So the belief and the behaviors, and a very quick, crude example is my mother-in-law. I'm in Liverpool, and the day before I get there, right? And don't forget, you know this, but maybe other people don't. But my father-in-law passed last year, right? And he was ill for quite some time. And actually, my mother, father-in-law, the salt of the earth, old school, mother-in-law looked after father-in-law forever, cooked, and even when he wasn't well, it was this sense of obligation, old school, so hesitant to put him in a care home. Anyway, he went in a care home and then went in a hospice. And the day before I went to Liverpool, my mother-in-law had gone out with my father-in-law's brother, a couple of other people, older generation. And they sat and they're like, AI, they're coming, no, right? Terminator, all of this,
Well,
like scaremonger. Anyway, right? But to the extent whereby, I'm not talking about, I've never seen her get angry, right? But her belief was that ingrained. And I go, but oh, let me just show you what it can do. And let me just give you a quick demonstration of it. And let me do it live on air, right? Because I've been training my AI since it's come out, for a few years, right? I've been training my AI. I've got like 3 different AIs we're developing. It is brilliant. And knowing that my mother-in-law is a bit lonely, naturally, people are there, and because it's like, oh, I don't have to run today. What do I do? How do I organize this? I go, let me give you a demo, right? I go, right, hey, are you there?
Has your like AI thing you got a name?
Hello?
Like Alexa.
Get to whatever you need. What's on your mind today?
Right. I'm on my live radio show with Jaff, my co-host, and I was just recalling the conversation I had with my mother-in-law about AI and the benefits of AI. But I'm just doing a quick demo here. And be mindful of the fact that you're live on air and there's other people listening in. So don't be sharing any of my top secrets. But just talk through the benefits of what you could do for me from an organizational perspective and the benefits of AI.
Well, first off, no secrets, I promise. Now, from an organizational angle, I'm like an always-on strategic sounding board. I can help you prep for pitches, draft those investor emails, or even refine a business model in real time. And the benefit? You save time and get sharper results. Plus, when it comes to AI, you've got a tool that scales with you, whether it's brainstorming, market analysis, or just keeping you on top of your many hats.
Brilliant. Thank you. well, let's just take this to a further level. Let's personalize this. And actually, all of a sudden, I want to start talking to you in Punjabi. Kidda ਘਰ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਅੱਜ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਵਾ?
हाँ जी बिल्कुल गल ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੱਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਦਿਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਖਾਸ ਚੈਲੰਜ ਜਾਂ ਮੌਕਾ ਜਿਸ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਥੋੜੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਤਿਆਰ ਹਾਂ
And now Jeff's going to talk to you in Bangladeshi.
I think Bill's not very good, man.
Go on.
Kitaba balani.
I'm gonna get that.
ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹ ਸਿਰਫ ਇੱਕ ਮਸਤੀ ਭਰੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੈ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੋ ਮੈਂ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਚ ਹੀ ਜਾਰੀ ਰੱਖਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਮੁੱਖ ਗੱਲ ਤਾਂ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੌਜ ਆਵੇ
Okay, let's translate into Bangladesh now, please. Jeff's going to try and talk to you in Bangladesh. He said he's pretty good. Here, I'm going to put Jeff on.
Kemon acho.
Kemon acho balani.
আমি ভালো আছি তুমি কেমন আছো সেটা বলো আস্তে আস্তে আমরাও জমে যাব
So now, what I'm trying to explain live on air is language is no longer a part. I can go anywhere and using my AI, like you, I'm not only able to translate, I'm able to have conversations in any language anywhere, but also you can help organize my day.
Exactly. Whether it's breaking down language barriers or structuring your calendar, AI like me is a flexible tool. I can help you plan your meetings, prioritize tasks, and of course keep you chatting confidently in any corner of the world.
Brilliant. Okay, turn down, turn off.
All right, I'm quietening down. If you
But this is just a very small, simple example. I've now integrated this into digital applications that we can deploy in any sector everywhere. So all of a sudden, Jaff's restaurant, Dabawa, is able to identify someone walking through the door who has these allergens, and you can say he's coming. And talking about your face recognition, the value and the benefit of that immediately is, well, Mr. Smith likes to sit in that corner, and he's already got his order of drinks and he's put his order in. So as he walks through the door, the NFC, the Google Maps, activates as soon as he comes through your door. And actually, he might even be getting dropped off in the taxi down the road. As he's walking, everything's prepared. You're putting him on the table with his family, and at exactly the same point, you put their drinks down. And the service is brilliant. And actually, all they do is engage with their app. And after the dishes are finished, they go, hey, GBT, my dishes is finished. And then it notifies. Anyway, it's brilliant. It is brilliant. And my point is, right, and I was trying to explain to my mother that I imagine that how it feels to certain people is no dissimilar, Jaff, to how the television felt. Imagine, right? You've lived your life, you've gone to the stage for entertainment, all of the things that are happening are in front of you. People act and reenact it. Shakespeare's there, this person's there, and everything's done live. Now, all of a sudden, me and you or the family is sat in the house, and then there's this box. Imagine that, to me, is probably one of the most profound inventions ever, isn't it? Think about it. All you've ever done is seen people live. Now they're in your room and you're like knocking on the screen. You're going, what? Imagine that. Right? So evolution is a natural thing, and AI is brilliant as long as it's utilized in the right ways. Now, sadly, like any technology, it can be exploited, and that's the challenge. You know,
I think I was just watching yesterday. I think the German Chancellor Merz, he was in China, or some kind of doing, but he was taken to an event, and you had like dancing robots and doing kung fu moves and all of that stuff. It's a matter of
Is that on like, for example, warfare and stuff like that? Is it? Do you think that's probably, obviously the military are not going to tell us, but do they have like robots that are going to go
going onto the front line and stuff like that.
That's already happening, right? That, like, warfare has changed. I was at a conference last night in London at the Guildhall. Well, have you been to the Guildhall? It is one of the most beautiful places. I was like, my gosh, I can't believe it. And, we've been to a few places. Anyway, I'm at this Guildhall, and Dr. Fiona Hill, who's the Chancellor of Durham University, is doing a lecture with the World Traders Organization and everything else, right? So anyway, she's a security expert. She's worked for 4 presidents, US presidents, is what she has. Um, she's done a strategic defense review here in the UK, all host of roles, and anyway, she's brilliant. And the question is, are we in World War III? Because someone said we're in World War III, and she said yes, we are and have been, because our view traditionally of world wars is like World War II, where there was people on the front line and whatever else. And coming to answer your question, right, about robots or whatever it is, well, if you think about it, the vast majority of warfare has happened through remote control, drones, right? Yeah. So is that the same thing? Is that not robots? As in that is, and these unmanned UAVs and whatever else. These are all devices and inventions where actually, the next step is sort of physical robots and whatever else. Anyway, show business topic of the week: what SMEs are really worried about in 2026, Jeff? What are they?
So number one, compliance.
Well, yeah.
SME business club. These business owners made one thing clear: they are ambitious, capable. Uncertainty is shaping how they approach 2026 for 4 recurring concerns stand out. Number one, compliance uncertainty. Ongoing regulatory changes making tax digital requirements are leaving many unsure whether they are fully prepared or exposed to unseen risks. There's no timescales on the tax going digital yet, is there?
Well, there is. It's coming now, so 6th of April. So everybody now needs to. So anybody who has any property whatsoever, anybody and everyone, and has rents over a certain amount, the certain is very normal. And the and then more broadly, anybody who's got another interest, business interest or whatever else, self-assessment, anyone who files a self-assessment, they're now being asked to start using making tax digital. That's open banking and whatever else. So software files everything quarterly basis rather than an annual basis. They've got access to. So that big nanny state perspective of knowing what's not. It's already here.
Amazing. Cost pressures, rising energy bills, wages, supplier pricing, and tax changes continue to squeeze margins to make financial planning. We talked about that, and we all know exactly how real that is. Decision-making confidence. Many founders lack a trusted sounding, making key choices around hiring, investment, and scaling. I guess that's where the ABC can come in to give them that guidance. Growth, hesitation, business capable of expanding a hold back due to cash flow concerns and wider market uncertainty. I mean, that's 100%. I mean, I'm baffled on that point, the growth hesitation. I think I'm definitely feeling that. And I'm curious as to how I can see so many businesses still opening new and having new ventures and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see why those operators are doing that. The issue is not a lack of ambition, but complexity. In 2026, SMEs need clear compliance awareness, stronger cost control, structured planning, access to trusted peer support to move forward confidence?
Hard. I think that's the bottom line. So coming back to the what's really interesting. So the bit that I haven't talked about was the fact that I was in Mumbai, Dubai last week, right? And to AI summit was there. It's buzzing. India is buzzing, and it has been for a long time. But it truly is. You know, it's ambitious, it's keen, it's eager, it's hardworking. People want to get up, people want a job, people make money. You know, it's like, and there's no restrictions. You know, the costs of everything have gone up. It's like that's global. There's no question about it. But you know, people, can you still get and afford people? Yes, you can. Can you offer good quality service? Yes, you can. In fact, I've just set up a tech company in India. You know, it's brilliant. Brilliant is what it is. Now, going back to AI, one of the biggest issues and one of the biggest challenges where AI is concerned, and more broadly, is anything technology oriented, anything that uses technology, right? AI can start to intervene and support. Now, you could argue people will become more productive, but tech firms, which have charged thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of pounds to develop applications, they need to change their business model. They need to change their business model because AI can and will start developing apps, can and will start doing marketing, can and will do all of the engagement. There's voice activation AI. You know, someone can just talk to someone, and whilst they might sound robotic, there's actual other versions and variants where they sound absolutely human and they can continue learning. Right? That's the thing with AI. It doesn't stop learning. So you keep saying, do this, do that, make this better, do this. And I've been, you know, talking to my AI for 2+ years. Right? The role of AI and the changes in AI are so profound that just this year, in the last 8 weeks of this year, AI has moved further and faster than it has in the last 5 years. Right? And the reason why I mention all of this is because it translates into all of this. So as a business, whilst there is absolutely growth hesitation, whilst there are cost challenges, whilst there's employee challenges, look, as a business owner, I'm going to start utilizing tech a lot more. Why do I need someone to do the bookings? Why do I need someone to do the websites? Why do I need someone to do whatever? Now, in leisure and hospitality, in certain sectors, there will always be a need to have someone there, right? And that need will be based on experience. People want everything now, right? People will order, like people will order online for your takeaway, and they might be living above you because it's the life of convenience. So it's about what people demand, and now people are being more and more demanding is what they are. So as an SME, what are the type of things that you could and should be doing? You should be looking at the experience. You should be looking at your business model. You should be looking at customer interaction. I'm currently recruiting 10 salespeople to go and knock on doors. Right?
Or the robots?
No, they're not robots. I don't want robots. Because I believe the role of human interaction and communication is far more important now than ever before because everything's digital, everything's done online. So imagine if someone turned up here and sort of said, "Oh,
Like a humanoid.
yeah,
Well,
absolutely, you
no, but I think it'd be quite novel though. Whoever creates a humanoid to go around the doors and stuff. Hey, I'm here to sell you. Yeah, I don't know your daily. You don't. I mean, imagine bringing your milk. The humanoid comes along. I think that them stuff will probably happen. I can see that.
Well, I just feel as if there is an opportunity to develop more meaningful relationships. We're hosting more and more network events, more and more people come and talk to just people, because actually whilst my AI can do whatever it is, it's still different, isn't it? It's not the same as me talking to you. It's never ever going to hopefully replace that, I don't think. But even if it does, I still want that relationship. And that's why the charity that we've got is introducing confidence, competence, and curiosity into young people to make sure they don't lose those skills. Because actually, AI is just making everyone and everything, or can make everyone and everything lazy. Why? What's the point of research? What's the point of research anymore? What's the point of going to a university and learning everything that you were doing? What is the point?
Especially coming out.
It never reduces.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy.
I mean, yes, the world is changing at an incredible pace, and I think, look, I think these type of over the last hour or so, the things that you've talked about, it's been definitely been enlightening, especially your AI friend.
That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think
it's brilliant. I had a very technical savvy and grateful to be able to pick and learn about the things that we talked about today, because it's been a day of learning.
It definitely has. What else is going on? Because I can hear something in the background. The next AB Curry Club is happening on 5th of March, a relaxed, informal networking event that brings together professionals to connect that was the what's happening. Let's go back in time. Very briefly, it's at ISS. We're going to have an iftari. It's a Ramadan special as well. Recognizing, congratulations to everyone who's fasting as well. May all of your prayers be answered and you have even more blessings in this blessed month. So the iftari is happening next Thursday. Please do come along. Check out what's going on. It's brilliant to see people and share culture and such like. Magnificent Mumbai, dynamic Dubai from signal to strategy. And there's a bit of an article on there. It's a very peculiar picture. Do I look angry?
I think it's
Guys, anyway. Yeah, so there's some brilliant stuff going on in the world. Reach out. We can help you connect, support, and promote. And there's a couple of interesting games. Everton tomorrow. What do you think?
I think we have to win more. I think a good run of games coming. 3 home games in a row. The 2 Manchester clubs. So we start on Saturday again. Man U on Wednesday. Man City on the Saturday again. And I think we've got a good run. We have to really go on a winning run, because we're a club now that needs to be in the Champions League on a regular basis. But our league form has been sketchy this season, but there's a lot of reasons for it. So I think I'm quite pragmatic and accept our league position, but hopefully we want a massive run and climb up that table. And look, I'm still dreaming of some kind of
Barcelona would be away, wouldn't it?
what do you think? I think I prefer Chelsea.
Yeah, no, but I meant as in, what do you think? Away? What do you think? Where would it be?
Final is in
30 seconds.
No, it's in is it not Romania, but where is it? It's in some European, in one of those Eastern European countries.
Okay.
Budapest. Is it?
Budapest, cool. I've been there a few times. Hero Square and things like that. Anyway, you've been listening to Ammar and live on our weekly radio show right here on Spice FM. We will be back next week. We'll have some extra guests on. We've got some actors and Amita Bachchan and a whole host of other people we've connected with. We'll do some Bolobashi with them as well and AI. But until then, it's goodbye from me. We've got another 10 seconds, Jeff.
On the hour, every hour.